I'm live. Okay, hi YouTube. It is Andrew from moneymental.co.uk here, the website dedicated to money and mental health. And I'm just going to shut that curtain because it is shining right in here. Yeah, let's see if I can get this lighting a bit better. Nobody's joined yet anyway, so that's the wrong thing. There we go. Oh, that lighting's terrible. Never mind. Hey Ads, how are you? I'm super bored in my hotel room in Manchester at the minute, so I thought I would go live on the YouTube just to say hello to people, entertain myself, and I thought I would do this meet the reseller thing on YouTube as well, because not everyone goes on Instagram today. So yeah, meet the reseller. Yes, there is a lot of light exposure. I mean, I could turn off the lights. Let's have a look, see how it's going. Hey, Sufa, let's see if I can turn off some lights here. Hang on. Is that better? Is that lighting okay? Looks a little light. I wonder if I turn off that one at the back there, that might be better. Right, yeah, hi. Might be the cameras might be shocking as well. I'm on my mobile phone. Anyway, yeah, I thought I would do Meet the Reseller via YouTube to join in the hashtag Meet the Reseller Instagram campaign that's going on at the minute. So I'm Andrew, obviously, as people know. I run, I have 3 arms to my business. I have this YouTube channel that you're viewing me on. I have a blog website called moneymental.co.uk where I share my experiences with mental health and being in debt and trying to make money to get out of it. And obviously I've got my eBay reselling business as well, which is also Money Mental UK, funnily enough. There's a theme there. And my sort of inspiration was, well, I started off with the blog first back in January 2018 because I had been through, you know, more than one mental health crisis, and, you know, I was starting to come out of it a bit more, and I thought that actually, and I was finding that actually, you know, people were interested in sort of hearing my story and that some of the experiences I'd been through and what had helped me out. So it was a good way to reach out and connect to people and, you know, hopefully maybe inspire them to talk about their own experiences. So I did that, and that was sort of plodding along for a bit. Hello, Gemma. You've missed nothing. I'm just talking through. I'm bored. I'm sat in a hotel room in Manchester on my own because my training course finished early. So I thought I'd do a Meet the Reseller session, like what is going on Instagram at the minute. Terrible grammar there. Like it's currently going on Instagram, whatever. But I thought I'd do it on YouTube on a live. So yeah, just talking about myself. Yeah, so I started off this Money Mental website to talk through sort of money and mental health problems, talk through some of the experiences I'd had and how I had resolved them in the hope of inspiring other people, mainly just to reach out and talk, to be honest, and add to that conversation. Hey Mia, good to have you with us. Don't think I've seen you in the live chat before, Mia, welcome. So yeah, I started off that website. Yeah, I'm good, thank you. Well, actually I've had a really horrendously stressful, depressing sort of day, but you know, I'm good. Apart from that, I'm used to that. That's just like how days go. So I started off the Money Mental website, and then I thought, why not go on YouTube and speak to people that way as well, because not everyone likes or is able to necessarily read stuff written down, but you know, they can interact in different ways through watching videos or whatever. So I started doing that. All right, okay. Sorry, I've missed you then before. But yeah, so I started doing the YouTube videos. I didn't really know what I was doing in coming to YouTube. There wasn't really, you know, a subject to it or whatever, so it didn't get a lot of traction to start off with. And then I was watching videos on YouTube, and I come across Nick Hill's. He was talking about, because I was looking at mental health videos, and he was talking about his battles with depression in a video. And it was really, you know, quite a sort of powerful one I could sort of resonate with. So I started looking at a bit more of Nick's videos, and obviously most of what he does, I think 98% of it or whatever, is about reselling. So I was looking at that, I think actually this reselling sounds alright. This sounds like a way I could potentially make money. Why don't I do that? Why don't I document my journey on the Money Mental website and via YouTube to becoming a hopefully successful reseller? So I did that. I set up an eBay store, you know. Well, I bought a few things first actually, then I set up an eBay store, eBay business, reselling stuff, and yeah, mainly in the collectibles market. That's sort of really my interest. And by collectibles I'm talking mainly sort of sci-fi movies sort of stuff. Branched out into sort of gaming and games and such like since then. I was originally going to do clothing as well, but there's more to selling clothing and a lot more competition than I thought. So yeah, that was about the eBay store. I started about May last year, so yeah, just under a year ago. Was it May or June last year? I think it might have even been sort of July before I had my first sale through it, but then it just sort of gradually started snowballing, and now it's like, you know, even though I'm away and it's on holiday mode and whatever now, sales are still coming in. But yeah, I thought I'll document that. If that's something else I can use the website for, to document my journey, show how I'm doing. Thank you, Sophia. How I'm doing. Use YouTube as well to document that. Yeah, reselling. Yeah, that was sort of May, June, July last year. Gemma. The website started January. I think the YouTube channel started March or April maybe. So yeah, those are the three main strands at the minute. But sort of next challenge is Amazon FBA. Hi Chris, good to hear yours. So yeah, I keep talking about starting Amazon FBA, but it's probably going to be May before that starts. Now realistically I was going to do it last month, and then stuff came up. How do I juggle full-time sourcing? It's not too bad really, because you know, I'll spend the Saturday, well actually I'll spend the Sunday sourcing the car boot. I can get enough stuff at car boot generally to last me for a week anyway. On a Saturday though, I will tend to also go around the charity shops, and I'll visit charity shops. I'll take an hour or so for lunch and go around some and get stuff. And obviously for retail arbitrage, you know, shops like Tesco and whatever, they're open 24/7 now, so I can sort of do that at any time. I want to do Amazon FBA, but eBay keeps giving me curveballs. Currently doing a stock takers missing items. Is that you've got items listed, but you haven't actually got them, sort of thing? Or is that because you've got stuff which you've listed but it's gone missing from your listings? Because I need to do a stock take really, because I've got stuff listed that I've had one or two things listed that I've not been able to find. So I've now got a defect rate of 0.17% because I had to cancel an order. So I just couldn't find it, and I thought I can't be asked doing buyer asked to cancel this one. I'm just gonna pick the out of stock option. Yeah, but yeah, inventory stock take is such like it can be difficult. Listings have disappeared. I found, but I started to do it. I couldn't find a few things. Yeah. I mean, I normally do buyer asked to cancel on it, and then I'll message him before and say, you know, I usually come up with a sob story, you know, as to something has happened in transit or whatever. But there's only so many times you can do that really, so I hope people start taking notes. So, but yeah, I mean, it's better now than it was. you know, because it's all sort of listed and all in one place now, but it used to be a bit of a nightmare. But yeah, now I'm sort of up to what with GTC will sort this sort of stuff, but then GTC could be the reason it's happening, as I was doing a mix of GTC in 30 days. Yeah, I've heard people's GTC listings have disappeared before. You know, at the end of the day, it's reliant on stuff going into a database, isn't it? You know, and things can get deleted from databases, data can go missing, you know, so no matter how many backups or whatever eBay have in place, it's inevitable that it will happen. The Hermes price hike is stressing me out. Well, yeah, I mean, ultimately, you've got two options, haven't you? You either increase your prices to take it into account, or you start bundling up stuff so that you post so that you can combine items into parcels and whatever. But it is going to have to be a case of going through and revising some listings and stuff, I think, because I used to do the $2.95 pay in store sort of thing, and then sorry, just making sure I was on the chat. You know, for the 2 to 5 kilos, but I believe that's disappeared now. So probably just be Royal Mail all the way from now on, to be honest. I think Hermes is looking to be either similarly priced or even more expensive than Royal Mail, in which case it's just no point in using Hermes. I mean, they've damaged another parcel of mine. I've had a return request open today because they've somehow managed to destroy a puzzle, so all the pieces of it have fallen out, and then they felt that's still appropriate to deliver that to the customer. So thanks for that, Hermes. That's gone really well. So yeah, I mean, it is an annoyance really, but I think Hermes are going bust, to be honest. Let's just have a look. Last year, eBay lost all the photos for a lot of GTC listings. Because of this, I pay for iCloud to keep all my stock photos. Yeah, I always keep all my stock photos on the laptop. I copy them across to the laptop now. Even if I'm taking them on the mobile and uploading them from there, I just go back into my listings and save the image just so I've got a backup. And I usually keep a copy of the listings as well, because that way then if I get the same thing again in the future, I've got a listing that I can copy and paste into it, you know, because it does disappear from your sold history after a couple of months or whatever. I know you can use the out of stock option, but that just I don't like having out of stock on everything, to be honest, and I think that disappears after a bit anyway. There was a question come up then. I'll just see if I got it. Would you ever give up your job to do this full time? Yeah, definitely. Hi Becca, good to have you with us. Yeah, definitely. That's me sort of dream really. I mean, my current plan at the minute is I'm waiting for work, which I think will happen after Brexit, if whatever happens with Brexit. I think, because I work for government, I think that there'll be a voluntary redundancy exercise going on, and my pay grade's one of the ones that will be offered it, because we're quite expensive to retain. So I think there'll be some payouts in the next year or two. When I do, I'll get a nice big sort of lump sum, which I will keep, and I will sort of expand my business then until it reaches the point it can support me, and I'll sort of draw on that lump sum to pay wages until the business is in a sufficient place that I don't need to draw on that, and actually I can start then replenishing that lump sum back up again, and you know, eventually hopefully get it big enough that I can sort of move into things like buying houses and whatever as well, and other sort of income streams. I mean, my aim anyway is to get, because business is self-supporting, self-sustaining, it funds itself, but it doesn't fund a full-time wage for me at the minute. But if I can get it to the stage where it can fund a full-time wage for me, you know, irrespective of getting a package from work, then I can save money that way as well and put that aside. So, you know, if I don't get a package from work, I can at least think, well, if I've had enough, I can walk out and work and do this anyway, because I know it works. So yeah, that is the intention. But there's so many variables, so much stuff happening around the corner. I mean, like, you know, eBay's doing changes with this good to cancel stuff. We've just seen Hermes and Royal Mail increasing their prices. So, but eBay seem to now be trialing Fulfilled by eBay. Yeah, it's not. It's just lighting, I think, and stuff in this room. To be honest, Aid, the camera itself. Oh, I might have something over it. Let's just have a look. That any better? I had my screen protector on. I've just taken it off. I think that might make it a bit better. Yeah, but I mean, I've seen eBay are doing this trialing in America, Fulfilled by eBay. I mean, that could be a real game changer as well, because all the one of the biggest issues I have as a reseller at the minute is storage for stock. If you can start sending that stock off into eBay in the same way you can with Amazon, potentially that could actually increase the opportunity to send more stuff in and generate more income, if you pick the right things. But again, if you're doing Amazon FBA, you have access to a lot of things like sales history and data, and you can see what the sellers are doing and such like, and the whole FBA thing is a real sort of industry around it. I think it would take time for that to grow up around eBay, but definitely something that could bring an opportunity. But as I say, there's opportunities and there's downsides. There's lots of people who do it full time, make good money from it, and but for me, there's always going to be sort of a few different areas of business. I make income from blogging as well. One day maybe I'll make income from YouTube, although Aid's daughter has already exceeded my views count. But yeah, I wouldn't trust eBay to keep my stock if the listing disappears. How would you reconcile it to help you getting more storage fees for stock, for stuff? Yeah, but same issue happens on Amazon as well, to be honest, Gemma. So it's all stuff they'll have to test. I mean, I can't see Fulfilled by eBay coming along anytime, and it's going to be at least a year, 2 years maybe before it comes along. But they'll probably just do what every other company does. They'll probably just recruit all the people who designed it for Amazon, probably just offer, say, look, we'll give you, an extra 30% on your wages, come work for us, and they'll design it for eBay. And hopefully they'll bring their experiences of having done it for Amazon over to eBay, and it'll be a better thing. I just made a day. Oh, that's brilliant. Yeah. What's it? I'm looking. It's had like 150 odd views or something on their My Little Pony video. So it's not bad going at all. That for first video, my first ever video, I had about 10 views on it, and I think some of those were just me watching it. So they've probably still got about 10 views, but don't look at it. It's terrible. But yeah. Yeah. I mean, if I went sort of full time, it wouldn't be full time as a reseller. I'd be full time as a blogger, a YouTuber, and a reseller. So there'd be a few different things I'd be doing there, and I'd be looking at other ways as well. Because I think this day and age, you need 4 or 5 different income streams, so that if one of them collapses, you can ramp up or scale up the other areas as well. I think it's risky just to rely on one income stream, particularly if it's a platform that you don't own, like eBay or like Amazon, because they can change the rules on you like that, and you can find yourself out of business and without an income. It's another reason as well why I want a sort of large sort of pile of cash sitting behind me as well. No, I do. I'd like to be debt free, but I think that's going to take a while. Anyway, yeah, that was Meet the Reseller. That's who I am. That's what my business is, what I do. In terms of what I sell, it's basically anything I can get my hands on that I know is going to make me money, but focus on collectibles. That I try to move away from stuff that's breakable at the minute as well. Although having said that, even that jigsaw puzzle Hermes have managed to destroy, but I should get compensation back on that. I'll just be a faff, that's all. But I tend to focus more on collectibles, sort of action figures, toys, collectible toys, and retail arbitrage. Seem to be my sort of biggest earners at the minute, but that might change in the future. When I do Amazon FBA, I'll probably start off doing books, and I'll be selling, cookbooks and non-fiction stuff and whatever like that. Get your hands on Aid Kitchell and send him to a country far, far away, please, as he's getting on my nerves. Is he? I've not caught up with what Aid's doing at the minute, but I'm sure I'll find out in a bit. Storage unit's nearly full, yeah. So I think when I join Amazon FBA, another task we're doing is going through and pulling out some stuff from that unit and sending it off to Amazon as well. But I do have the option of moving into a bigger one, which I could well do, because the income is sort of going up month on month for me, so you know it's affordable. But I've also my supplier of really useful storage boxes has gone bust, so I need to find a new supplier of those so I can get more boxes in, and then I can stack more stuff in the storage unit. People are talking about getting shelves and whatever. That wouldn't work for me, because all my stuff in there is unlisted. I want to just put it in boxes that I can stack high. Hey Deal City, how are you, mate? You okay? Just talking through Meet the Reseller. I don't know if you've seen it on YouTube. There's hashtag Meet the Reseller going on. So I was just sort of introducing myself and talking about what I am and who I am as of today, and what I'm about. I do other things as well in terms of reaching out to the sort of the reselling community. I moderate on the Tat Chat, and I'm also a moderator for the Money Shed website as well, if any people use that. And I also run the Money Mental support group as well, for resellers with mental health issues such as myself. Gives a safe space and an opportunity to talk, you know, without sort of fear of being judged, etc. Because there's a lot of misunderstandings and misconceptions around mental health, and it's something that people don't sort of always feel safe or comfortable about talking about. You know, for me today, I was sat in this classroom doing this training, and I like people saying stuff to me, God, and they couldn't understand why I couldn't get it, because it seemed dead simple to them, and I just like, they assumed I was being facetious or whatever, and it's like, no, I just genuinely don't get it, and it's stressing me out now. But then the stuff they found hard to do was just easy for me. It's just my brain doesn't work in the same way as other people's, and that can be difficult at times, to be honest. It was difficult today for me, really was actually. So hence why I decided to come on YouTube and talk for a bit, so I could sort of take my mind off things. So yeah, that's who I am. That's what I'm about. I like to try and help people along the way if I can, and help myself in the same way. I know, personally, I have my puppy Barty. I volunteer, and I've been volunteering up at a local heritage centre as well. And obviously I do the blog, the eBay business. I work full time as a civil servant, a senior business manager now. Nobody's told me what that is yet, but you know, it sounds important, so hopefully it will be. But yeah, and that's me. So I don't know if there's any questions anyone wants to ask in the chat while I'm here. If not, I will probably sign off and have a watch of some YouTube videos or something. I feel like an underachiever. No, you're not an underachiever, Gemma, at all, no. I think, to me, the way I look at it is, you've got to get good at one thing, really good at one thing, before you can do something else anyway. You know, so eBay, you focus at the minute, but then, you know, you might feel in 6 months' time that actually now is the time to expand into something else, and then you learn that and you get really good at it. But you still keep that eBay going, no matter what, because that's your main sort of income and everything. So, you know, for me, I don't give as much attention to me blogging as I could do, and therefore it doesn't make me as much money as it could do. But I just do enough to keep it ticking over, because I don't have the time to do anything else at the minute. If I went sort of full-time working for myself, full-time self-employed, then obviously that would change, and that would be seen as an income stream, and therefore it needs X amount of attention per week. At the minute, I'll spend an hour or two on it a week, because that's all the time I can devote. YouTube is an hour or two, because that's all I can do. How do you plan to save while doing eBay full-time? I always save a bit every month. I always save money from the eBay. So I have a minimum savings target each month from it. I don't take any money, or so if I've had a poor week, say, or a poor couple of weeks, you know, I won't source, but I've got enough of a sourcing backlog anyway, enough stock to list regardless, so it doesn't stop me listing. It just means I won't source for a week or two, because I will hit that savings target no matter what. If it's £200 a month, £250 a month, sorry, actually it is, that I save each month from it, and then everything else is put back into the business, as a sort of investment, or, you know, I'm buying technology or whatever to support the business, like this phone that I'm on, you know, so I get sort of new toys out of it as well. So, and obviously my stock inventory increases each month, so the assets are going up, so, you know, it's all sort of moving in the right direction. But yeah, that's there's always a savings target, and as I say, if it looks like I'm struggling to meet that target, then I don't source, because I only use money I make from eBay to source with. I don't use money from me wages or any other income stream for eBay now. I did in the first sort of couple of months while I was setting up, and then I paid myself back, and once I paid myself back from it, that was it. It's my main issue. I cannot say it seems a simple concept that it doesn't happen. Yeah, the way I do it is I have an account that I don't touch, and I just follow money into that account. I don't even know how to get the money out of it. You know, well, you know, I could find out. I just haven't told myself how to get the money out of it, if that makes sense. So, you know, I saw if I run them up, they'd say, oh yeah, you just need to do X, Y, and Z to withdraw your money. But I've deliberately not found out what I need to do. So I could just log on every month and see that money is going up, and that makes me feel happy. I think Dale City had a comment as well. I'll just see if I can go back to that one. Yeah, life things don't just click some days. You think they would, tomorrow will always be brighter. Yeah, sort of keep going on that approach, really. You have bad days, you have good days. Yesterday was a great day. I met Car Boot Chris, which was a great experience. He was, him and Bargain Bell was very hospitable. I met Cookie as well. Lovely curry at their house. Good chat. It was really, really great time. You know, so I'm really grateful to him for having me around. And I sort of, you know, I was a bit anxious going in beforehand, because, you know, it's new to me. I'm meeting people I've only met and spoke to via YouTube, Instagram and Facebook. But yeah, they're just really lovely, you know. So you know, that was really good, and that sort of gave me I felt, you know, coming from that, I was just like really happy, you know. I felt really sort of chilled and everything. I know today's been difficult, and I think tomorrow will be a nightmare. I've got an exam to do, which I'm probably not going to pass, to be honest, but we shall see. But you know, Friday hopefully will be a good day, and the weekend will be good, and hopefully on Sunday pick up some bolos at the Car Boot. So, you know, all's good really. But yeah, you have these patches, you know. If life was sort of level like that, it'd be boring. You need the down points to appreciate the high points, really. How do you make cash from blog? Oh, there's various different ways you make cash from blogs. You can have affiliate links, so people click on them and then they buy a product, you get a percentage of that. I get invites to write on other people's blogs, and they pay me for it, or do filmings and stuff. You know, so I've recently done some films for the Money Advice service, which will be coming out soon. That was a result of blogging, you know, and obviously, you know, I get paid for my time for supporting that. I can charge people to write articles for my page, because I have what's called, it gets technical, but I have a domain authority, which is all about how you rank on Google. If somebody's starting off a new page or a new business, they want to rank high on Google, if I link to their page or business, that will automatically boost them in the Google ranking, and they'll pay me for that, because it means they get more business from more people finding their website. So, you know, that's a very simple explanation of it. But yeah, stuff like that. You know, it's the same with the YouTube. I don't have, you know, everyone's sort of obsessed with getting this 1,000 subscriber mark and monetizing YouTube. The money you earn from Google AdSense, from adverts, is minimal really. It's not a huge amount. I have Google AdSense on the blog. I get thousands of views every month, and you know, that's thousands of different people sort of coming in and looking at it. But you know, I only earn a couple of quid a month or whatever for that from Google AdSense. Certainly not enough to sort of pay for the cost of the website. And it's the same on YouTube, you know, you get a couple of thousand people viewing your videos, you're not going to get a huge amount of money from it. But what you can do is use it to show other people who are offering to pay for content. Look, I do these videos, you want me to do an interview for you, you want me to come along and talk about mental health or whatever, you know, here's me doing that. Have a look, see what you think, you know, see if my experiences and my story is something that you're prepared to have me share with people, and obviously, you know, you won't have to reimburse me for your time. So for me, it's not about subscribers or view count, it's about monetization on this, is about being able to put myself in the shop window on a financial level. On a personal level, it's, you know, the satisfaction is able to sort of reach out and speak to people such as yourselves, and hopefully give reassurance and help, you know, people realise that no matter what you're going through, it can and it will be overcome. You know, and you can reach the position where you can accept what's going on for you and sort of able to sort of talk openly about these things without sort of fear of judgment or repercussion, really, because I think that fear of judgment and stigma, particularly around mental health, but to a lesser extent around things like debt and money as well, is very real, and it's very unfortunate, and it, you know, it deeply harms people. I mean, this is not being sexist. This is fact that 85% of men who have mental health issues don't talk about them, and then end up, hey Jake, it's viewers, and then that's Bobble around, by the way, guys. Don't end up talking about it, and as a result, it builds up and builds up. There's no way for them to get help or an outlet, and they end up committing suicide, and it's very sad. You know, and that's the sort of thing that I want to discourage, you know, by coming on here and talking about my experiences, about having had suicidal thoughts and overcoming in the past, and I don't get them anymore. You know, but there was a time where it was a minute by minute sort of thing that was plaguing me. So, you know, you can get through it, and I sit here and talk as a real life example of that, and I'll go out and talk to organisations and companies about that as well. Do I game? Well, very little Deal City, very little. I do like gaming, but I think with my anxiety sometimes it's difficult for me to focus on doing it. So, you know, I think the last game I bought was Red Dead Redemption 2, but I haven't got very far in it. But I will sort of pick it up again and get a bit more stuck in. I think Chelsea just joined us as well. Hey, good to have you with us. Stressful day it's been today for me, to be honest, but it's just, I've got both PS4 and Xbox One. I'm not on, I don't do multiplayer gaming or any of that, and I'm just rubbish at it. Was there a time you would thought you would never? Yeah, definitely was, yeah. You know, up until I was 25, up until I was 25, I had, obviously I was autistic and didn't realise. Hey DBG, I know you're always working hard. It's a good game, Deal City. I haven't got the time for it. Yeah, I mean, up until I was 25, I had no idea what a suicidal thought was, depression, anxiety, or any of that. And I had anxiety, I just didn't realise. And obviously I was autistic, so that's the sort of thing that you have from birth, as it turns out. But I didn't get diagnosed until last year. Suicidal thoughts, never had anything like that. I think when I was a kid, I used to pinch myself occasionally as a sort of form of self-harm. That's the closest I ever got, really. You know, I didn't frustrate myself, but I was always pretty chilled, really. People who see me go through my mental health experiences don't think I'm chilled, but I really am. That is my natural personality. I just confuse the illness with the personality sometimes. And then it just like a switch turned in my head, something happened, just had that one-time event that sort of triggered a massive breakdown, really. And then it just, because I didn't seek help, I didn't reach out for it, I didn't tell people what was going on for many months, it got progressively worse until I reached that stage where I was, you know, suicidal, and I was, you know, actively looking for ways to end things. And you know, obviously I didn't, because you know, I would just think to myself, you know, you've got a lot of family and friends; they'd be absolutely devastated if you know, anything happened to you. So you know, you can't ever do this, you know. So, and that was how I was challenging those thoughts. But you know, eventually I sort of found it's not strength or courage, because what actually happened was I found the ability to ignore everyone who was telling me not to go to the doctors and get help, because people were saying that. And people were just saying things like, oh, just get over it and whatever, and various other unhelpful things. There was nobody actually that I was able to talk to. Well, that's not fair. I didn't feel there was anybody that I could talk to who could relate, I think. Hey Chris, who I could talk to that could relate. So I didn't therefore talk. And that was a misconception on my part, I think, actually, because there were a lot of people around me going through the same thing, but I didn't realise, because I didn't feel able to talk about it. But then the people I did talk about it to weren't the right people. I was told my depression was all in my head. My answer was, well, if it is in my leg, I would chop it off and problem solve. True. Exactly. You know, so yeah, I mean, literally, it's in your head because it's in your brain, isn't it? But you know, it's not something you make up, is it? It's something that, you know, actively happens to you, and it's a killer. It's literally a killer. You know, it's one of the biggest killers in the United Kingdom of people. So, and it's such a killer because it's so we can't talk about it. We can't go out there and speak, because when you do, you have people say things like, it's all in your head, or you're just making it up, or you're just feeling sad, or you know, or I thought you were stronger than that. That was a common one that was said to me. Or, you know, as if it's a weakness or even something you have any control over. So yeah, that really, you know, stopped me. And then of course you reach that stage then where, because it has stages, it gets progressively worse, so it goes untreated in the same way that anything else can. Not always, you know, sometimes things will get better naturally because your external circumstances may change, and whatever's triggered that event may have recovered. You know, you could have gone through a messy divorce, but then you meet someone else, for example, or you could have, you know, you could be in a stressed or anxious state because you've just sort of got no money to pay the bills, and then you win the lottery the next day. You know, things can change around you to impact on how you feel, but generally, you know, if left untreated, things will get worse if you don't work out what those causes are. So yeah, anyway, I eventually went to the doctors, and then the doctor was useless. He said, oh yeah, you've got depression and generalised anxiety. I'll refer you to the mental health team, and that was it. There was no offer of medication or anything else like that. You know, and I was suicidal. They make you fill out these questionnaires to say how you're feeling and how your mood's been over the past couple of weeks. And so I was filling out the max on every sort of category. You know, so I was obviously sort of desperately in need of assistance, but that doctor just wasn't sympathetic. And then I went back a couple of weeks ago, met a new doctor, and that was pretty life-changing for me, actually, because she was a lot more sympathetic and understanding, and she put me on medication straight away, and I felt like things were happening, and that slowly started the corner turning, and it was still a long journey, but we got there in the end. You know, obviously still ill at the minute, and I'll probably be ill for the rest of my life now, because you know, I've just accepted that's how it's going to be, and I'm not sort of concerned about that in terms of, because you know, I know that I've been to the lowest point I can ever go to, so anything else is a bonus. Let's catch up in the chat. I think mental health awareness is much more acceptable nowadays, though. Yeah, definitely, there's a lot more people talking about it, which I think is a good thing. And I think tools like YouTube and Facebook and social media, which often get derided as a as something that can negatively impact mental health. I've had the opposite experience, actually. When I first got diagnosed, I wrote a blog about it, and I published that blog or linked to it on Facebook. And then I had pretty much all of my Facebook friends, I think all of them contacted me then, and all really, really supportive, and people were sharing their experiences, and it was a watershed moment for me, because it suddenly realised that I'm not alone out here, actually. That even though I feel alone and isolated, I'm really not. So I was able to start that conversation happening. So, and then I could put on there now how I feel, and I no fear of getting judged or anything like that. And then on YouTube I can have these conversations and whatever. So for me, it's a tool, and it depends how you use it. But for me, social media is a great way of being able to reach out and talk about things and get that connection and beat that isolation. Anyway, so back on the chat. Finding the right person to speak to is never easy. It took me over 2 years before getting the correct help. Yeah, I mean, technically, it took me years to get the correct help, because it was only last year that I met somebody who actually said, "Oh, have you ever been assessed for Asperger's?" That was when I started getting help. 2012. That was 2018. It was 6 years, really. So it can be a long battle, but you will get there, as you say, Chris. Exercise, very good, very helps, mate. Yeah, exercise definitely a good thing. Yeah, exercise, I think it's incredibly brain positive. Thank you for that. Definitely. Well, I don't know about bravery. You've got to remember I don't know. You have different, when you have Asperger's, you have different things I can talk about myself and these experiences a lot easier than a normal typical person could, because I won't feel the emotional impact in the same way of talking about it. So I don't know if it's being brave or not, because it's just literally my brain is wired to make it okay to talk about. But thank you for that. But yeah, definitely I hope it's positive and it gets more people talking about these things and recognising them. Because, as I say, do genuinely want people to feel like they can express themselves. Because that, I think when I was at my worst, I literally felt like, there's this phrase, and they've been in a prison of your own making. And to me, it felt like my brain, my head, was inside a prison, and there was no way to get out, and somebody had thrown away the key. And I was just hitting my head against the prison bars all the time. It just literally felt like that, like it was never going to end. And I would love to have the ability to be able to talk to my younger self and say, it's okay, it will end, it does end, it doesn't feel like it, but I promise you, I think the only person I believe is my older self, to be fair. I don't think, you don't, when you're in that bad a position, necessarily, you're not necessarily able to take on what other people are saying. It's difficult, but yeah, if I had that ability to be able to go back and talk to myself, I would do that, because I'd be like the best counsellor I could have ever had. I could have just, because I knew what was going on, I could have just sat down and talked myself through it. But that's now I can do that for myself, because that's why we have CBT and whatever. We can now challenge the force to go on. I can sit and talk to myself. I can say, okay, you're feeling stressed now, but you know what? It's a temporary state of being. It's not going to last forever. You felt like this before. You felt like this 2 weeks ago and you've forgotten about it, sort of thing. So, I can now have that conversation with myself that I couldn't have a few years ago. And maybe that part of that's the stigma as well, because, too sort of scared to admit what's going on, really. And lack of understanding me. I had no clue. I didn't know what anxiety was, depression was. I'm missing some of the chat. I'm always encouraging my mate to open up if he's feeling down, as is the male personas to never show weakness 24/7. Yeah, it is done. But it's how we're taught. Thank you, Chelsea. I am proud. I am proud, you know, to be where I am. Definitely. Um, you know, some aspects that of my life that make me unhappy or I'm not satisfied with that, you know, do threaten to drag me down occasionally. You know, there's some things I struggle with, like having a relationship is, you know, sometimes feels like an impossible dream for me. But part of that's down to just my past experiences as well, and the people I've sort of been with in the past have not been, yeah, yeah, the psychotic could be a word, but you know, probably not the best word for a mental health advocate to use. Um, but we genuinely don't know what's around the corner. You know, if you'd spoken to me a year ago, I wouldn't have known that I'd be here having this conversation now, and I wouldn't know that I'd be, you know, by my standards, my personal standards, making a success of reselling. So, you know, it's it just goes to show. I shouldn't have a data usage alert because I should be on the freaking Wi-Fi. No, I'm not on the Wi-Fi. Oh, never mind. Plenty of data anyway. So, so yeah, it's an interesting thing, life, and the past that takes you down. I just think never be afraid to talk about what's happening. If you talk about it and you get knocked back by someone, talk to someone else. That's not the right person, but that's okay. Don't worry about that. Talk, because you will find the right person to talk to, you know, and you might have to find 5 or 6 different people before you find someone who understands and can relate. But you will. You know, there's lots of people I can talk to. There's you guys, for example. So, you know, and you can all talk to each other. So, you know, there's no don't be afraid to get back up if you get knocked down, basically, because you will get knocked down, you will get a lot of knockbacks, you'll get people judging, but I would just feel sorry for them, because I can guarantee to you that person there who's judging you for what you're going through, they're going to go through something very similar in their lives, and they're going to have exactly that experience. So, you know, I just feel pity for those people now, really, who sort of knocked me down in the past, because I know that they're going through similar, and you know, they could be here now with me, but they're not, because of how they were, and so they've missed out there. They've missed that opportunity to have that support. So, you know, never feel angry to anyone or bitter or anything like that. Just feel sorry and move on. Would be my advice. So yeah, that was Meet the Reseller, which turned into sort of yet again me talking about mental health and whatever. But as I say, that is a vital part of my. It doesn't sound right to say mental health is part of my business, but it's part of my inspiration for being in business, I should say. I think that's probably the way to put it. And you know, if I can help people just getting 5 to 10 sales, I don't know. It feels good if I get. The thing is, right, I could get 1 sale a day through, but if it's a £100 item, for example, you know, I'm going to be walking around on cloud 9, aren't I? So for me, you know, because you can have 5 or 10 sales, but it's all sort of low value stuff. So I'm happier with. I sort of am happier with what I've sold, if that makes sense. Like yesterday, I had something that I'd had for about 5 months that I'd listed. I'd even put it on a £9.99 auction. It had gone nowhere. I'd sold yesterday, even while I'm sort of away and not, you know, because the store is not sort of active at the minute. And that just gave me. I think that was only sale yesterday, because as I say, I'm away, so the thing's on. The store's not active at the minute. You know, the listings are still there and people still buy stuff, but they're not going to get it for a bit. But that, just having that 1 sale made me dead happy, because that was something that had been hanging around for months. So I was happy to get that. And you know, I don't even know if I've had any sales today, to be honest. I'm really on top of paying attention to things. But you know, so it can just be sometimes that one sale can make all the difference for you. And you know, and then there are knockbacks as well, you know, on eBay. You know, you get a return in, and sometimes it can knock you for 6. Today I had a return request in, and I'm just unconcerned really. You know, it wasn't due to something I'd done. As a low sale day affect your mental health, and if it does, how do you do it? I think the one time where it did affect me mentally was October last year, when I went through a 2-week period with no sales, and I was sort of going down a route of, you know, sort of feeling quite sort of low about it, and you know, questioning really whether I was doing the right thing. But that's when I did, you know, I thought after that, well, practice what you preach. You're always talking about reaching out to other people and engaging with them. This is your opportunity to do so. So that's what I did. I know I've talked about this before. That's when I reached out to the members of the chat community, and I said, look, you know, what can I do to improve here? I'm not getting any sales. They give me advice, and I took that advice on board. And then I had a sale the next day, and then the sales just kept on coming after that. So, you know, I think if you are having a day like that, to me, and I had no sale day on Sunday, which was bizarre. Mother's Day, not every day in March sales, no problem. Mother's Day, not a single sale, and no real views or anything. And normally Sunday is my best day for sales. You know, I'll easily hit double figures normally on a Sunday. So you know, to go from that average to none, you know, could have knocked me, but it didn't. But I think a few weeks ago, a couple of months ago, maybe a bit longer, it probably would have done, and I'd have started worrying about it. But now, because I've been through that before, and I just think to myself, well, yeah, okay, you had a bad day or no sales today, but think about all the times when you've had £100 sale days and whatever else. You know, there's far more days where you get sales than there are where you don't. So I look at it now as an averages thing. You know, you are going to have days where, for whatever reason, you don't get sales. Grand National's on next Saturday, so that might be a bad day for sales because people have lost hundreds on the GGs, or they're just focused on watching the TV or whatever. You know, so it could be a really poor day. You know, that's an external thing that I can't control. I'm not responsible for when the Grand National is. All this uncertainty around Brexit at the minute could be stopping people buying stuff, which could be why a lot of sellers are having poor marches. You know, we don't know. We've got no control over it, but that's why I think diversifying your income as well, so you've got a few other things to draw upon. So you're struggling in one area, but something else is doing okay, it can help mitigate that as well. But I think definitely, just for me, just thinking about the positive days I've had and remembering those, and having the knowledge that it does turn around and get better, that I've been through it before and it's been okay, is what helps me. Let's go back to the chat. Yeah, getting them old items sold is always satisfying. Yeah, definitely Deal City. You know, sometimes I'm happier to sell something that's been on for months. We're giving off a % discount, lowering prices, changing titles and pictures. eBay can be like a video game, trying to get as much sold items in a certain time period. Yeah, there's and you've got to sort of, you know, I use a lot of psychology in my listings and whatever as well, because, you know, I'm trying to hook that buyer in to buy my product over and above someone else's. You know, and I don't use price as a point normally. I do promote listings. I do markdown sales to get rid of stock. But if I'm doing a markdown sale, I'm marking down from a high price point to probably still just above the average selling price anyway. You know, for me, I'm more interested in getting as high up those search rankings under the best matches I can. A markdown manager can help give you a boost in that, promoted listings can help give you a boost on that, but how you list your item, how you describe it can help do that as well, and the photos and all the other things that you've got to do and how active you are on your account and responding to messages. So I play all that sort of game, and I'll happily, you know, if I've got a product that's top of the best match, I will ramp up the price on it as well, because I know that people will look at that one and buy it. You know, people for whatever reason don't scroll down or don't use the filter to go sort by lowest price because they're lazy, which is why you know, people are saying to me, oh, you're crazy buying this retail arbitrage stock and asking so much money for it, you know, when the market's asking £6 or £7 less. And I'm like, well, yeah, but look at the sales, they're coming through. So, you know, you've got to get yourself into the mind of the buyer. The buyer's on there, he's thinking it's eBay, it's a bargain place, I'm online shopping. He doesn't realise he's got to put some effort in to find the cheapest product. He thinks, or she thinks, as soon as they go on, they type in what they want, they think the first one that comes up is the cheapest. They buy it because maybe they're used to Amazon, where, you know, Amazon just has one product with multiple listings on it, whereas eBay has multiple listings for the same product. Yeah, that's something I'm going to get into in May. Chelsea is the Amazon FBA. I say May, I keep giving myself these dates. You know, it's been March, then April, then May. It's something I'm going to get into at a point to be determined. I'm away this week in Manchester, and I'm away in Birmingham next week, and then in Bristol the week after or whenever. So I've already written off this month in terms of starting a new business venture. But May, June time, Amazon will be on the cards. Anyway, my voice is going, my throat is getting dry. I've been talking for over 50 minutes. So I'm going to take a break now and say, oh no, I don't doubt it's a game changer at all. No, it's just that for me, I have to, it's perhaps a symptom of my autism, but I have to research something thoroughly before I commit to and do it. And I've got to be happy in my own mind that I've gone through that step and that I'm knowing what I'm getting into before I start doing it. So I have to feel sort of, you know, that I'm prepared for it. So I want to spend a bit of time giving myself that confidence, and then I'll go for it in a big way. But it's not really sort of putting it off. It's about doing it at the time that feels right for me, and I'll know when that is, sort of thing. It's the same as I did with eBay. You know, I didn't launch into it straight away. I spent 2 or 3 months researching, getting the stuff I wanted to sell, etc., getting that all together, and I feel that time was well spent because I'm sat here now with what I judge to be a successful business. So, and it'll be the same for me on Amazon. You know, I will take that learning and experience and apply it in that regard. Something else flashed up on the chat then. It's true, the customer on eBay messaged me saying how high my postage was, but she couldn't be bothered to scroll down. Yeah. I do the free P&P now as well. I think that seems to help. Like, that's up a year for you to come and try it, yeah. But, you know, ultimately, if during that year it's giving you the confidence and you've built up your knowledge about it and now it's going well for you, you could argue that that's because you took that time out to develop that confidence and go for it. You could have started 6 months or 9 months earlier and it could have been a massive failure. You know, you don't know, but the fact that it's working for you now suggests that you've done the right thing there. So, you know, I certainly wouldn't worry about that. I think that's you know, an advantage. It might seem like a long time, but that's the time you needed. You know, I could have started Amazon the same time I started eBay if I'd wanted to, but rather do these things in stages and gradually scale up. And it means that I can, because I don't want eBay to take a back foot to Amazon in any way. You know, I want it to still be a main focus of mine. So I've got to do it in a way that I don't see my eBay losing momentum, because if eBay starts to lose momentum, that's bad for me, because that is the main source of income for me in terms of my different income streams at the minute. So I need that momentum to keep going. And I just need Amazon to add on to the top of that momentum and not stop it or get in the way. Anyway, yeah, that was it for me. Thanks for watching and tuning in, guys. It's been a good chat. I've enjoyed speaking to you all as always. I may go live tomorrow night for Monday Night Mental. I know it's not Monday, but I was away on Monday, as I still am. You can tell I'm in a hotel room at the minute. So I'm going to go with Monday Night Mental on Thursday, and the topic of conversation will be the benefits of exercise. Yeah, I've just got to schedule it so it doesn't clash with Nick's live chat. And I think Peter Ray's going live on Thursday as well, but I suspect I'll be on a train when he's live anyway. So I'll miss Ad's Thursday talks, unfortunately. But yeah, I think that was just something that came up. My biggest mistake was going charity shops every day in the beginning. It was money down the drain. This car was so much better for me. Yeah, I made the same mistake, to be honest, Deal City. You know, my initial few months, everything I sourced was from charity shops. I didn't and then I started looking into other sourcing opportunities. Car boots, just as they were winding down, and retail arbitrage I did whilst the car boots were wound down, and obviously that has proved to be successful. So, you know, now for me, car boots is my biggest source of stock this year. But yeah, there you go. You just adapt and flex. You learn as you go, don't you? Right, thanks, Chelsea, for your comment there. Thanks, everyone. I will end this now. Good to speak to you all. Hope you all have nice days. And yeah, enjoy the rest of today. I don't know how to end this, mind. I think I'll